You know, when a major character is killed off in major TV series, we always question why. We always question could have been done better. Now, various characters have been killed off in TV series in the first or second season, but this one really stood out because we didn't really see it coming because behind the scenes, we didn't know how, what do you call, unhappy Denise Crosby was playing Tasha Yar. So the one where she gets killed off, or her character Tasha gets killed off, is called Skin of Evil. This is the 23rd episode of the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation. First aired on April 25th, 88 in broadcast syndication. The story premise was written by Joseph Stefano, whose teleplay was rewritten by Hannah Louise Shearer. The episode was directed by Joseph L. Scanlon. Now, set in the 24th century, the series follows the adventures of the Starfleet crew of the Federation starship Enterprise D. In this episode, the Enterprise races to rescue Deanna Troi, played by Marina Sirtis, from a crashed shuttle who is being held captive by Armus, an alien life form. Mark McChesney, voiced by Ron Gans. In investigating the crash, Yar is killed by Armus. Troi is eventually rescued after Captain Picard distracts the alien. Now, Yar's death in the episode was the result of Crosby's request for release from her contract. Episodes were filmed out of order. The last first season Yar episode film was Symbiosis, which in first run syndication immediately preceded Skin of Evil. The manner of Yar's death was intended to be typical of the threat posed to a security officer, as what the show's creator, Gene Roddenberry, had intended. The episode was received poorly by many critics, who rejected in particular the armless creature and the manner of Yar's death. But things happen. The Enterprise in this one receives a distress signal from a shuttlecraft returning Deanna Troi from a conference. They find that the shuttle has crashed on a desolate planet, Vegra 2, and while they can find the life signs of Troi and the pilot, Lieutenant Prieto, played by Raymond Forchion, they are unable to beam the two to the ship. An away team beams down and discovers an animated pool of a tar-like substance. It is a malevolent life force that calls itself Armus. When Yar attempts to approach the shuttle, Armus hurls him back with a psychokinetic blast, killing her instantly. The away team is brought back to the Enterprise, but the injuries to Yar are too great for Dr. Crusher to remedy, and they are unable to resuscitate her despite numerous attempts. A second away team is then sent to the planet. Armus taunts the crew members and maintains his grasp of the shuttle. Troi has communicated with Armus and learned that it's a physical manifestation of evil from the bodies of an ancient race abandoned on Vegra 2. Now, the Enterprise scans Armus's energy field, finding that when he expresses his rage at Troi rather than suppressing it, the field weakens, which could allow him to beam Troi and Prieto out of the shuttle. After Armus toys with Troi by completely engulfing Commander Riker, Jonathan Frakes, and put him into the goo, Captain Picard beams down to speak to Armus directly, sending the rest of the away team to the ship. Picard engages Armus in a heated discussion to discover its motive, which is to seek revenge on those who had abandoned it on Vegra 2. Armus is angered to the point where the entry field is dissipated enough, allowing for Picard, Troi, and Prieto to be safely beamed back to the Enterprise, leaving Armus wailing in fury and alone once again. After destroying the shuttlecraft from orbit, Picard orders a permanent quarantine on Vegra 2. Now, the emotional scene at the end where as they leave Vegra 2, the crew holds a memorial service for Lieutenant Yar, with a recorded simulation of Yar addressing each of his senior crew members, telling them what they meant to her and what she learned from each of them. After the service, Data, who had previously had conjugal relations with Yar, tells Picard that he's confused as to the purpose of the service. He says that his thoughts are not for Tasha, but for himself, because he can only think of how empty his life will be without her. He asks if he has missed the point, but Picard assures him he did get it. In a very emotional scene, especially for Surtees, was crying real tears, and Crosby was a very, very important member of the cast. Now, the original story, then titled A Shroud, was written by Stefano, who had previously worked on The Outer Limits. Hannah Louise Shearer was given the task of rewriting the original take. The first draft had Yar's death occur early in the episode, with the main focus of the episode being the armless creature rather than her death. It was the show's creator Roddenberry who argued in favor of sudden demise, as he felt it was suitable for a security officer. Roddenberry also argued against killing Armus in retaliation. Shearer later described the decision, saying Gene felt we couldn't kill the creature because it's not up to us as human beings to make a moral judgment on any creature that we encounter because we are not God. Now, Yar's death in the episode was after Crosby had asked to be let out of her contract, and rumors had circulated of her departure. She later described her time on Star Trek Next Generation as miserable, and it was well known at the time that she was unhappy with the way her role had been developed. She later said that if she had more scenes written for similar to the one she shared with Worf at the start of the episode, then she wouldn't have wanted to leave the show, where Worf basically tells him, I bet on you on this competition, and he said, a sure thing. Now, Yar's memorial service was filmed twice. The first was with Crosby reciting the lines while looking straight ahead, which was the director's preferred choice. However, with a version where they're looking towards each of the other characters in turn was ultimately used. Scanlon later said, don't ask me how she knew where to be standing. Surtees' tears in the scene were real. She was cued by Crosby standing off camera. Skin of Evil was not the last episode in the first season in which Crosby appeared. Symbiosis was subsequently filmed after the episode, but was aired earlier in the run. In the last scene, she's waving from the shuttle bay. Crosby also later returned the Yar role in Yesterday's Enterprise and in the series finale All Good Things, as well as Yar's half-Romulan daughter Sela in several episodes. Guest stars in Skin of Evil, including Walker Boone as Leland T. Lynch, Brad Zerps as a nurse, and Raymond Forshaw as Ben Prieto. Even though the episode marked the death of Yar, Crosby was credited for the 3 remaining first season episodes. Now, Armus was originally intended to be based on the Munchausen theater group style, but was discarded in favor of a Shroud-type character. Scanlon was determined to make the creature believable, as it was aimed to have the creature rise up of the old slick, drawing it with him. A test was made using a melting miniature vinegar Armus with the intention to play in reverse, but it didn't provide the required effect. The construction of the suit for Matt McChesney to wear as Armus was split between 2 teams. Michael Westmore and Gerald Quist spent the day sculpting the head, while the construction of the body was outsourced to an external company. McChesney's Armus was lowered into and out of the oil by means of a grate under the surface. Although the head was designed to enable the clearing of McChesney's airways quickly should there be a problem, no oxygen tank was included in its construction, and so he had to hold his breath whilst under the surface of the oil. Crew members kept track of the length of time he was under by using a stopwatch. The oil itself was a water-soluble metamucil material, which was dyed black using printer's ink. Of course, that's a diuretic. Now, during production, the crew found that for some reason, the liquid kept dissolving the seams of the suit, although the head was unaffected. A backup suit had been ordered before production began in the last minute, as required in order to shoot all the scenes. After they started to break apart, further orders were placed for additional suits, and all the suits used eventually fell apart during the 4 days they were used on set. In order to film one scene, McChesney wore the suit open back due to the damage. Now, no optical effects were used in creating Armus. For the scene where Riker's pulled into the oil, a stuntman was used as a stand-in for Frakes. Where Riker's face emerges from the oil, it was actually a plaster cast of Frakes' face painted black. It was placed in the same grate used to lift McChesney and filmed lifting out of the liquid. The twitching effect in Yar's death was due to a wire tied around Crosby's waist being pulled on. Now, Skin of Evil aired in broadcast syndication April 29, 1988, received a 9.7 Nielsen rating, reflecting the percentage of all households watching episodes during this time slot. This was a decrease of 1.1 ratings points from the previous episode Symbiosis. It was the same ratings level received by the following episode, We'll Always Have Pairs. Now, several reviewers rewatched Star Trek after the end of the series. Zach Hadlin for the AV Club gave the episode a C-, saying that at points the episode just got annoying. Some others said that Yar's death scene was out of place and overall Armus was unthreatening, saying murdering Yar should make Armus seem more dangerous, but he's just so whiny and petulant and bland that he could have killed half a dozen cast members without leaving an impression. One reviewer for Tor.com called Yar's death pointless, but it was in a manner suitable for security episodes. IGN reviewer Errol Schaefer thought it was a silly episode, riddled with terrible dialogue. It was given a score of 5 out of 10, marking it one of the worst 4 episodes of the season. Yar's death was also included in the list of the top 21 NAF sci-fi deaths by SFX magazine in 2012, and it was also listed by the magazine as a bad example of a somebody dies episode. Now, in 2016, the Hollywood Reporter ranked it the 89th best episode in the entire Star Trek franchise prior to Star Trek Discovery, noting how shocking it was that the main character was killed off. Now, in 2019, to revise yet again, the Reporter ranked it among the top 25 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, highlighting how hard it was for the crew to lose a team member. Now, the first home media release of Skin of Evil was on VHS on November 11, 1992. The episode was later included on the Next Generation Season 1 DVD box set in 2002 and released on a Blu-ray in July 14, 2012. Now, I would give this 3 stars out of 5. Basically, the scenes are not played for anything but danger, but to kill her off so early in the episode, like she didn't, it was hard to figure out, because in most times in the original Star Trek, the classic Star Trek, if a major crew member was killed, he was usually revived later on. And this didn't happen. So a lot of people thought this, when Yar was brought off the planet, she would probably be saved, but it didn't work that way. So again, Skin of Evil, one of the classic season 1 episodes, because when you kill off a major character like Tasha Yar, strong as nails, and later on her sister also appeared on the show in a fake with Data. But Denise Crosby, a great actress, and she's spoken many times at these Star Trek conventions. The fact was, if you were given the script that she was given in the first part of the episode, maybe she would stay longer. Maybe they only really wanted 2 women in the Enterprise, if that makes any sense. 3 was too much, because the original one you had Grace Lee Whitney and Nichelle Nichols. Again, it's worth watching because, again, it's a very good episode. And Data, Brent Spiner, he just acts his ass off in this one. It's tremendous. Thanks for listening. If you like what we're doing here with our Star Trek Next Generation podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.